Hey, welcome to the closing beat, everybody. Happy Monday. How you doing out there? Hope you're having a good day. Everything is good with you. Sorry I missed you on Friday. I'm very quickly becoming an expert in these early retirement plans that the airlines are offering their employees. I probably spent the whole day talking to pilots, flight attendants, gate agents, you name it, of all the major airlines there. People that are considering taking the early retirement, and it looks like American Airlines pilots are going to be next. But anyways, side topic. We're here to talk about the stock market today and cover all that good stuff. So if everything's going well, I think we will get things going. We're also going to reference a few things. I'm going to kind of clue you in on some of the things we're doing in our research site. I hope you'll check that out. jazzwealth.com/research if you're interested in it. And I forgot to change that thing. Anyways, we're going to talk about gold today. We're going to talk about down here. Where is it? We're going to talk about this video here. So if you're one of our members of the research group, go ahead and watch that video there, because the market is behaving exactly how it statistically does. So maybe something cool you want to check out if you are interested in that. Anyways, we'll go over to the stock market here today. If you take a look on the screen there, the Dow was the only one that was positive, and let's just call it flat on the day. Not a whole lot going on there. I mean, it's kind of a tough one. This was an interesting day overall. It was more of the same action to get started. You know, Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon, all those blasting off, hitting new highs, all looking exciting. The S&P gets within 1%, less than 1% from hitting positive year to date, and then just starts to fade away. The S&P was actually up 1.6% on the day. You can see it closed down about 1%. Big range. That's a big range for the summertime, and that's probably the major takeaway from today. Even on the Nasdaq, if you look at the Nasdaq, that is a major change, or I should say intraday range overall there. Now, it is also the beginning of earnings season, so happy earnings season to you all. Pepsi got us started here today. And you might remember the expectations going forward here from our video today. So I'll just share this briefly with you here. We got expectations from earnings here. Here is the earnings performance by sector over the last 11 years. And what we did on today's FinTips video, if you want to check it out, is we broke it down by analyst prediction. There's a rather interesting contrarian type indicator there that you might want to check out there. That's our FinTips videos on our YouTube channel today overall. But that's just that one. We'll see what happens here through earnings. You know, you can kind of take a look at the different sectors that you're in and the probability of you being positive up for during earnings season or not. There's some worse than others. Technology, obviously one of the better ones there. We will see what happens there. But let's take a look overall at the markets today. You have the Dow was your best performing index out of the group, as I mentioned, just barely positive on the day, but did retreat from its highs. Actually, every major index did the same exact thing. I do want to point out the Nasdaq here, because the Nasdaq, which is up 15% still year to date, by the way, even with today's reversal, massive range. Take a look at that range. We just haven't seen anything like that. And again, that's the big takeaway today, was how much we reversed. A reversal day is one thing, but to see a very strong day reverse all of its gains and then almost replicate that to the downside is pretty interesting there. So far, now this stat will change after today, but so far, 63% of all days year to date for the Nasdaq have been positive. That's even with this 30% drop that we saw in here. So the majority of days have been positive. Maybe that's maybe today we're starting to turn the corner a little bit. In the last 35 years, if you look from the beginning of the year until now, there's actually been only 3 times where the Nasdaq, 3 years where the Nasdaq has had more than 63% of all days be green. That would be 2017 with 64%, 1998, and we're working on some fancy graphs for you. 1998 with 63%, and 1995, 65%. What's more interesting is if you take a look at the performance of the market after that. Right? Was that a good thing or was that a bad thing? So if you look back, 2017, the rest of the year, the stock market didn't pull back at all. Just kept going straight up, 12.3% gain on the year. 1998, it gained 32.7%, but there were 2 major pullbacks. So that's kind of interesting there. And then in 1995, nothing happened at all. So if you want to go back and look at that, you're not missing anything, 1995. No year in the Nasdaq, by the way, no year at all has had a full year with 63.1% of the days being green. So right now we're at 63.1. Never has it stayed that high. It's always been less, meaning there were more red days to bring the average down if that's something you're interested in researching and everything. We're really working on beefing this thing up here now that we've got a little control over it. So that will eventually be animated graphics and all this cool stuff, and I'm really excited about it. Anyways, so the Dow, you got 8% down year to date still. This is one of the worst performing indices overall, but it was the best one today. You had really healthcare. United Healthcare looking pretty good there. That was one of the supporters of the Dow today. Johnson & Johnson off the 200-day. We'll come back to that one in just a little bit. And even Pfizer had a good day, but it is the smaller weight on the Dow, so it didn't have as much contribution to it. And that's what you have there. As far as the virus goes, can I go back to the main screen? Can I do that? As far as the virus goes today, Florida, new cases. Boy, we know how to do it here in Florida, man. We hit a record for the most number of cases in one day, 15,300 cases. Yeah, the deaths are ticking higher as well, but Florida just started with a whole lot of stuff there. And actually, what's going on now with the virus is they're dissecting the numbers. We all know that if you die by getting hit by a bus and you happen to test positive for the virus, that's a COVID-related death. We all know that that's the game they've been playing. I don't care what you believe about it. So now what we're doing is we're dividing the data into two categories: death with, death of, right? So we can see how many people are dying of the virus, not with the virus. So expect to see some more stats on that. The death rate is, of course, much lower overall. I don't have that data in front of me at the moment in Florida than it was in New York. So, I mean, I guess that's a positive for now. We'll see what happens there. Nationally, hospitalizations have ticked lower as well. And Florida, though, just started reporting hospitalizations, so it doesn't matter there. And lastly, virus-related news, California going to close all the bars, restaurants, and theaters, reclose, I should say. And LA and San Diego says that this school year will be online only. Those kind of headlines throughout the day is what took away from the rally that started there, right? It allowed you to have the focus on that temporarily. It will quickly go away from that because we got earnings season coming up. But that's the sort of thing that chewed away at your gains today in the overall stock market. So it doesn't matter where you look or how you participated today, you very likely saw some form of your gains today erased, basically. In our FinTips video today, earnings season expectations, that is released today. I just mentioned that. Wednesday's video, I don't ask you this much, this often, but that's going to be one you want to watch. The IRS just inadvertently, I don't know if they meant to do this, but they created what I'm calling the in-service virus rollover. So if you don't like your 401k and you're trying to get money out of it, you essentially now can take $100,000 and just plop it in your IRA. And your employer can't stop you, by the way. So really interesting what they just did there. We'll cover that on Wednesday. And then Friday, we're going to try to beat the target date funds performance. Show you an example that we did with a customer here. See what I can help you with there. All right, let's go over to the sector breakdown. Take a look and see what's going on for the day, because it was a wild day. It was one of those days where I put together a list and then you had to come change the list at the end of the day. Healthcare, right back up into breakout land. Looked good today. It was one of the leaders and actually was still a leader as far as the sectors go. Broad strength here, headed back up here towards this breakout land, but it was reversed today, so today will not be the case. The relative strength, strong stocks and the relatively weak stocks all participated today. They all enjoyed a gain today, so there was no way to find like people were going after value or momentum or anything. It was evenly spread. Johnson & Johnson off the 200. Pfizer, which is a relatively weak stock compared to the rest, that was the best performer out of the group. And we mentioned UNH earlier, up 3% on the day. So it didn't matter what type of stock it was. Healthcare in general did well today. Pfizer got the big boost because they said two of their vaccine candidates that they're working on with another company as well, didn't notice that in the fine print, got fast track designation from the FDA. They're just blasting these things through. You had consumer discretionary there, hit new 52-week highs, got an interesting little bit of a breakout there, but reversed on the day. This was mostly Amazon. And in fact, at one point, there you go. At one point, Amazon accounted for over half of the sector's gains. That's how heavy Amazon was participating, or how big this move was in Amazon today. Fess up. Who bought Amazon today? Who saw it hit new highs and said, I'm gonna buy that thing? And then you got, come on, somebody did. I know somebody did. Tesla as well. Talk to me. Home Depot was very strong on the day, reversed all of its gains. Lowe's happens to be a little bit stronger than Home Depot, which is kind of rare. Lowe's hit new highs as well. That one did reverse on the day there. But still, consumer discretionary is still up just under 8% on the year so far. So not too bad there. Now, tech reversed itself today, down 2% on the day. Apple was, in fact, half of tech's gains today. Two stocks represented half of the those two sectors gains today, but Apple, as you can see, just gave it all up in one day there. I was going to ask the question, what happens when Apple has a bad day? Right? If these stocks are the only ones leading you higher and you own a lot of them, what happens when those just have an off day? Anyways, looking at semiconductors here, they hit new highs as well. We've highlighted semiconductors and their relative strength over the last couple of weeks. They did reverse as well, still up about 15% year to date. Almost every stock was positive at one point today and then reversed. Taiwan Semiconductors, one of the bigger, it is the bigger weighting stock in the sector there. Strong. Maxim, very strong on the day, 8%. Advanced Analog Devices, ADI, is going to buy them for a cool $20 billion. And Nvidia was higher as well, hitting new 52-week highs. Then you saw a lot of profit taking. Do you get that this is kind of the moral of the story today? AMD, very close to getting back into a sloppy breakout area and reverse course, down 4% on the day. You look at some commodities here, you got gold. There you go. Slight downtick in gold for the day, still looking really strong there overall. You've got oil. Oil was down $1 to 40.08 is where it closed there. You had some OPEC news come out over the weekend. Not too bad there. And I do want to point out real quick, silver. There you go. Silver hitting new highs as well, right? So looking good there for silver. Look, it fell 35% from its virus high. Gold only fell 10%. Right, fell less than 10% actually. But silver recovered way more than gold. Temporary blip. Sorry about that. Just for fun, you've got silver is the third best performing commodity of the year. Gold is the second best performing commodity. Anybody want to guess what the best performing commodity is of the year? While we transition to the technical breakdown here and I share some interesting stuff with you. What do you think the best performing commodity is of the year? 38 new highs on the day. 28 of them closed lower on the day. Only 2 closed higher than where they opened. Domino's Pizza looked good. This was the breakout play we talked about last week. It did break out on Friday. It continued today. Look at that move, though. I mean, just got ahead of itself too fast there. From the breakout to the highs, that's almost 8%, right? So you can kind of understand, right, if Domino's Pizza wanted to take a little break here in the short term, but that one looked pretty good. General Mills, we haven't owned this one. We're excited to see this one break out to new highs, looking a little bit better there as well. But of course, like everything else, it did retrace itself today. Whole Logic also retraced, still very much inside of that range. We mentioned this breakout in here. It's been slow to get started, but still roughly about a 7% gain from there. And now just kind of quiet. You know, I don't have any problems with where that one's at. There were 0 new 52-week lows today, and if we look at some individual stocks, that Domino's Pizza was one we mentioned last week with the breakout. You've got ACLS. Doesn't look like it's going to break out at the moment. You've got this series of highs here, just trying. I thought it looked like something maybe interesting there. That one may need a little bit more time. In the home builders, you got Lennar. There it is. Lennar with the breakout there. We also highlighted this in the research section as well, if you want to take a look at that. And Dr. Horton looking good. You could dig through the home builders, find a couple others that you like if you're looking in that category. Tesla at one point today was up and very extended, of course. Up 16% in one day before it started to turn around. Very strong move. I'll give it that one there. Who bought it? Come on. Fess up. Who saw that today and was like, that's it. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to buy some Tesla. Was it, who? Tell me. Who was it? Somebody did it. There's so many interesting things here with this Tesla. We did a fun thing here. I'll go back. We talked about Tesla. What if it was in the S&P? Would have been the 16th largest stock by market cap in the S&P. As of today, hitting its high there, even at its close, it would be the 10th, given how everything else changed today. So it would be the 10th largest, stick itself right in there, just above JP Morgan. But as far as it being the largest of a couple things, there's a couple other things you want to know. It does have the best performing year-to-date performance. If it were in the S&P, it would be the best performing S&P stock out of the top by market cap there. It would also have the highest PE ratio, so know what you're getting into. It would also almost have the highest short interest, which I think we're going to highlight this in the research section to talk about what's going on there. Why is American Airlines is higher, Carnival, of course, but how do you get to that point? How do you get to be such a valuable company, yet it has so much short interest in it? We'll cover that. Anyways, a couple stocks in the news, and I'll take your questions. I'll just be happy that all this worked today after a couple days off. Pepsi beats on earnings there, looking good, starting to wake up there as well. Back above the 200-day moving average. This has been a choppy, boring stock, which is okay if you invest in it. You're probably just looking for the dividend, but they did well on earnings. Apparently, the snacks that Pepsi sells, we're just dominating those snacks. All right, I'm probably part of that problem. Disney reverse course today, was up a little bit, but just fell with the markets today. Disney World reopening down here, and there's not a lot of people there. I don't know if you've seen the traffic there. It's maybe the time to go if you're interested. Facebook, there you go, hit new highs, pulled back as well. They're considering not allowing election ads during election season. So why would there otherwise be election ads? Their actual words were, we're considering not allowing election ads during election season, but any other time, I didn't get that one. Anyways, hits new highs. It's up 21% year to date before the reversal today. Obviously, it did fall with the rest of the market. Interestingly, Facebook is up 20% more than the S&P, so technically an outperformer at the moment. Lastly, American Airlines here, down just a little bit at the end of the day, down 2.6%. Pilots, if you fly for American Airlines, you're going to get something from American this week. They're going to give you an update on the furloughs and more particularly the layoffs. They're just straight up layoffs, maybe get you to do early retirement. So not that I have inside information, that's the actual news, but yeah, it's coming. So hang on there. Also, American Airlines, by the way, you guys asked me this, and if you don't mind, maybe I'll use this while you guys are asking questions. American Airlines has they're in bad shape financially. They've got out of the major airlines there, and including SkyWest, JetBlue, Hawaiian Airlines, Alaska Airlines, they have the highest debt to asset ratio, and they have the highest debt to earnings ratio, meaning they already have a lot of debt. What are they going to do? They've already got a lot of problems there, so they stand out as one of the worst out of the group there. SkyWest is second in terms of the amount of debt relative to their assets, and Allegiant Airlines, which you can kind of understand the smaller ones. That's like 1/5 the market cap of American Airlines. You can kind of understand that because they're scrappy, right? They're still trying to build and expand, and so they take on more debt. American Airlines, that's a tough one there, but anyways, that's what we have there. Oh, Tesla, the Model Y. If you like the Model Y there at Tesla, they dropped the price by $3,000. I don't know if you care about that. Pretty cool there. Earnings, a lot of earnings coming up. You got Citigroup, Delta, Fastenal, JP Morgan, and Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is your worst performing earnings stock. They only beat like 54% of the time on earnings relative to the other banks. Sorry, 52% of the time. So that's the worst out of the group there. I believe Citigroup is the most volatile. Yep, it is the most volatile. They do beat 75% of the time on earnings, but it is the most volatile stock out of the group, and that will sort of officially kick off the earnings season there. And finally, AbbVie paying out $1.18, Campbell Soup paying out 35 cents, Oracle paying out 24 cents, and Abbott Labs paying out 36 cents. I will now try to take your questions, see what I could do to try to help you. You think Florida virus cases all come from Miami? Totally unfair. I think our area is doing pretty good up here in terms of supporting the numbers. Yeah, it's rather interesting there. Harry says $24,000 a share for Tesla. You want to bet, Harry? I'll take the other side of that bet. 24,000? Just give me a deadline. When do you think it's going to be there? I'll take the other side of your bet. Does the market usually make most of its gains in the first or second half of the year? Well, so the only time we've ever done this, we broke it down by year. So we tried to break it down into election years. We tried to break it down into more recession years just to see the differences there. There's no huge difference between the first half of the year and the second half of the year. The second half of the year does win because usually the November, December, Christmas time rally helps you out there. So that is the better performer. I'd have to dig up all those numbers again, and I actually like that, so I'm going to dig that back up, and we'll cover that because we usually cover it around the sell in May and go away time period, so we've broken up the markets leading up to May, through sell in May and through Labor Day, and then the rest of the year, so that's where I usually spend time on that. I like it, though. That's a cool one. What's the number one commodity? I didn't see anybody guessing there. Maybe somebody did. You guys comment so freaking fast, man. I need a TV to see these comments. I didn't see the orange juice. Orange juice is the number one best performing commodity so far this year. Orange juice. Y'all want to buy some orange juice? What's the most volatile metal? I'm not just looking at the individual metals. I would bet palladium, but I wouldn't have a fast way of pulling that up for you. Maybe. I'm going to guess palladium. I don't have that in front of me, but that would be my guess. How do you think with Disney shutting down again in China, it means a second shutdown for their country? Well, that's a tough one. I don't know. I know they're dealing with some other stuff over there, but I couldn't tell you. Yep. What are some of the red flags you see, the warning for this earnings season there? I think it's going to all be based on forward guidance, if they even give it. Remember last earnings that came out, there was no guidance. Now that we've had some time to digest this, these companies have been able to see the actual slowdown or whatever they're experiencing. I would expect to see true guidance, right? So maybe this is the quarter where it comes back, hopefully. Yep. I love it. How do you trade a stock like EQ? You don't. What do you want to do with it? You just look at it and go, "Wow, I missed it." You don't chase that. I wouldn't. I guess I can't tell you what to do, but I'd be rather frustrated if I gave you money and you were trying to find a way to chase that stock. Yeah. Oh yeah. I like the different personalities here. Some of you are like, yay, America, yay, stock market. Others of you are like, dude, the zombies are coming out, man. They're coming to get you. Trading places, yeah. That's a must watch. They should make that a requirement before you buy your first stock, right? You should have to watch that. And maybe Wall Street, the original one. The second one, not so much. I love it. When an analyst initiates coverage with a price target, is that 12-month price target? Yeah, 12-month price target from that day that they initially put it out there. So they don't often do things like 6-month price targets or anything. I've seen it before if they happen to be talking about or anticipating going into a recession or when the recession starts. But other than that, yep, always 12 months. You got it. You're passionate about your Tesla there. I like it. Well, good. I hope you own it. Do you own it, Harry? If you own it and you held through today and you plan to hold either way, then ride that train, man. I love it. I would prefer if I owned the stock that it didn't do what it's doing, but I mean, how can you complain, you know? You got it. Are there any videos in the dojo that talk about support lines, RSI, moving averages in general, how they act as technical? Yeah, I think the third candlestick class is you wouldn't use you don't use technical analysis so much for options trading unless you're one of those that says I can't afford to buy the stock, so I'll buy a call and replicate, or buy 2 calls and replicate the stock price. So I know we've covered it in that a little bit, but I think in the third candlestick class we touched on that a little bit as well. Yeah. Same with the trading class. There's a trading class in there. Same with that. Yep. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. I appreciate you guys hanging out for the day. I'm just happy it all worked. We've got things and changes coming there, but you enjoy the rest of your day, and we will talk to you, of course, tomorrow. We'll be back again to do this all over again. I will wish you a good rest of your day, and enjoy. See you later.